Hey Discount Divas, this is Carly. Today we're going to talk about Makeup Geek, which is a huge brand right now, especially with YouTube, considering it was created by Makeup Geek Marlena. Um, and we're just going to talk about some of their new products as well as some of their eyeshadows in comparison with MAC eyeshadows, which they often target themselves to be duplicates for. So with that, we're just going to start by talking about the eyeshadows. As you can see, the pigmentation on Makeup Geek eyeshadows truly is incredible. I'll show you guys some swatches for that. I have 6 of the shadows right now. I just ordered most of these from Makeup Geek, but I have had time to play around with them for a little while. The longevity is great. Pigmentation's fantastic, and they have a great creamy feel about them. It really feels nice on the skin, I think, in comparison to a lot of other more chalky eyeshadows. But the big thing with Makeup Geek, they started with these eyeshadows comparing them to these eyeshadows by MAC. And one of their big marketing techniques, which really agitates me, is that the same shadow for a considerably cheaper price. They're saying that they're over half the price of a MAC eyeshadow, and that is not true. They're actually very close to the price of a MAC eyeshadow. Because Makeup Geek's an online company, I don't feel that it would be fair to judge MAC's in-store items with the online purchases you can make from Makeup Geek. So I'm only going to compare using the online MAC store. And let me start by saying that the Makeup Geek eyeshadows retail for $5.99 on their website. They do have a shipping cost. It's a relatively low shipping cost. I know for me personally, it's usually around $1.99, and that's for anywhere from, I've ordered one item versus $25. However, MAC has free shipping on all items, no minimum purchase, all the time. It's not a promotion. That's just how their website functions. Their eyeshadows are $10. Now, you'll see a lot of people kind of give a dispute to this, saying that they can cost a lot more, and they do if you purchase them with packaging. However, Makeup Geek eyeshadows are not modeled after MAC eyeshadows with packaging. They're modeled after these little tin pans that are designed to go in a palette. This is MAC's Vapor, and they're essentially the same kind of design. It's really hard to tell the difference between Vapor and the other eyeshadows that I have in this palette. Similar amount of product and things like that. However, Vapor, as well as all the other matte pan eyeshadows, are pro items. What that means is that you can't purchase them a lot of MAC counters, which is why a lot of people don't compare them with Makeup Geek. However, you can purchase them online, same as Makeup Geek. $10 for a large variety of colors versus $5.99 for Makeup Geek, plus you have to eliminate the cost of shipping. So if you were buying one Makeup Geek eyeshadow and you live where I live, obviously it's going to fluctuate a little bit with the shipping cost depending on where you live, I would be spending $7.98. For MAC, I would be spending exactly $10. That leaves a difference of $2.02. Not a big difference. These eyeshadows really are very similar in price, and again, it really agitates me that a lot of the people on YouTube, as well as Makeup Geek itself, markets as a MAC duplicate with a much cheaper price. The price really isn't much cheaper. However, don't think that I'm bashing Makeup Geek too much, because the quality of Makeup Geek eyeshadows, I think, are significantly better than MAC. I think they're fantastic eyeshadow with, again, great pigmentation, whereas the MAC ones, some are good, but other ones leave more of a sheer wash. This is MAC's Vapor, and I'll show you a swatch in the corner of that. But it shows up, but you do have to build it a lot, whereas with the Makeup Geek eyeshadows, I feel like you can get a really good pigmented swatch with just one run of your finger. Second thing I want to talk about with Makeup Geek is something that I was so excited for, but now I'm really disappointed, and that is their new Vegas Lights palette. The Makeup Geek Vegas Lights palette has been talked about on Instagram, Twitter, a lot of social media things. It's about to make its debut. It's Makeup Geek's first ever palette, so obviously it's really exciting for all of us makeup enthusiasts out there. However, I was so disappointed when the pre-order launched yesterday for this product because it's extremely expensive. for what you're getting. And the reason I say that, it's a 6 shadow palette in beautiful colors. The whole theme's Vegas, so they're going to have a lot of bright pigmentation. The packaging also is very Vegas oriented. It's a fun palette, a lot to do with it. The shadows are the same size as the normal Makeup Geek eyeshadows, which is really unique, I think, because in a lot of palettes, such as this Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, the shadows are going to be a little bit smaller in palette form versus what you would get if you were purchasing an individual eyeshadow. So thumbs up for that. However, this palette is set to retail for $37.99 for a 6 shadow palette. And what really gets me about that, if you divide $37.99 by 6 eyeshadows that you're getting, you're going to come up with a number that's around $6.33 per eyeshadow. Now, if you were buying those eyeshadows individually, they only cost $5.99. So it's about 34 cents more to get the palette form of the eyeshadow versus if you were buying one of the other normal Makeup Geek eyeshadows individually. The reason I find that so odd is it totally goes against the reason for buying a palette. When you buy a palette, you're going to get several different colors. I'm just using my Urban Decay Naked 3 palette again because it's handy for me right now. You have several colors that come in. They vary a lot, but they kind of go together so that you can use them all. Chances are, if you were going out and buying all these shadows individually, you might pick up one or two. I know me personally, I might pick up this Gold Color Trick, and maybe Dust, this really sheer pretty color. I would not be buying all of these eyeshadows. The objective of creating a palette is so that I will buy all of these eyeshadows because they're being offered at a really good discounted price. The Makeup Geek eyeshadows are not they're being offered at an inflated price, which really, again, it blows my mind why they would do that. And you have to account, they do come with packaging. However, every palette comes with packaging. Urban Decay eyeshadows, the individual shadows, retail for about $18. This palette is $54, and one of the more expensive palettes, I think, out on the market for the average buyer. However, it comes with 12 eyeshadows in here, and it just blows my mind that Makeup Geek's going to release a palette with 6 eyeshadows. Granted, they're a little bit bigger for a really considerable price. $38 I think is a little bit ridiculous. Plus, again, you're dealing with Makeup Geek, you're gonna have shipping tacked onto that as well. So I'm just gonna say estimate of $40 to get this palette. And I guess the reason it really surprises me with Makeup Geek is, again, Makeup Geek really tries to market value type of branding. Their whole point is kind of drugstore prices for high-end quality makeup products. That's what they really try to get across to the consumers, whether it's through YouTube or through the information on their website. That's what they really press for, is to get this great quality product for a really low drugstore price. And you're not getting that with this. Granted, I'm sure it will be a great palette. If you're really into makeup, it might be an okay investment. I, for one, will not be purchasing the palette because I think it's ridiculous as far as the pricing. The shadows are very pretty. However, again, like with any palette, they are not the 6 top eyeshadows I would ever purchase from Makeup Geek. That's why you buy a palette, is to get them discounted so that you purchase all these eyeshadows that you normally wouldn't have. By inflating that price, it would actually be economically advantageous for me to go ahead and find 6 eyeshadows that I absolutely love on the Makeup Geek website and order those. Therefore, it's not the greatest investment. A lot of the colors are very similar. They don't market these individually, so you can't get the exact shadows from Makeup Geek as an individual product. The reason I think for that is because they realize that nobody would buy the palette in that case because it's extremely expensive and people would just get what they want. However, Makeup Geek offers 60 shadows, so there you have some extremely similar shades. If you found one color in that palette that you just feel like you had to have, you can probably find something extremely similar on the Makeup Geek website. If not, buy one from MAC. The MAC eyeshadows, I think overall aren't as good as Makeup Geek. However, they're more shimmery metallic shadows, which this palette mostly consists of. They're going to have a lot more pigmentation and a lot better quality than your matte type of finish shadows. And you're going to be spending $2 more than if you ordered one shadow off of the Makeup Geek website. Again, not a huge difference. But that's just my opinion. I wanted to get it out there because I feel like I've seen no reviews on YouTube that really showcase that Makeup Geek is not very cheap like it's supposed to be. It's not a super cost friendly in comparison to other brands. Granted, it could be a lot more expensive, but it's not drugstore pricing. And I think this new palette is really showcasing that the Makeup Geek is slowly and progressively becoming more expensive. I want to leave on one last note though. I love Makeup Geek. I think with the cosmetic industry, it's unbeatable. I have several palettes from several high-end names that I was in love with until I tried similar shades from my Makeup Geek, and now I never pick up those other products. I think Makeup Geek shadows are rich and beautiful pigmentation. I have not tried the blushes yet. I do have one of the brushes, and it's fantastic. It's the soft dome brush for my eyes, and I find myself reaching for it every day. I use it more often than my Sigmas, and they are quite a bit cheaper for now. The foundation brush is not much cheaper. I think it's about $16.99 versus Sigma. We're looking at $21 maybe. Don't quote me on that, but it is around that figure. They are on the incline as far as price goes. However, I would definitely recommend picking some up before that price jumps up too much. And even when it does, I don't think that you're going to regret purchasing Makeup Geek when it becomes more expensive because it can hold its own amongst the higher end brands. What really gets me, I guess, is that they advertise with a pricing with the lower end brands. And that's not what I'm seeing with the company. If you are, please let me know if you have some other angle that you think I might find really helpful. I would really love to know about that, so you can leave that in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I think my next video might be on another semi-Makeup Geek related thing on how to make your own Z palette like the one I have here so that you don't have to buy one of those in the store. Always looking for helpful, easy ways to save money. But if you have any other ideas for any type of discount, duplicate products from the drugstore for high-end items, any kind of thing that you might want to know about the value of and if it would be a helpful purchase, please let me know about that. I would love to receive your input. And I guess that is all for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.